we're back to 8 funerals and...
Up to 3 weddings.
Up to 3 weddings. 8 funerals and up to 3 weddings here on our in memoriam / wedding ceremony / whatever this is.
the season in review.
Yep. And so I don't know if we finalized this. So this is where we're going to announce what we're marrying. I've got our list here.
Okay.
That we're going to go through in order as we do and give like closing thoughts, retrospectives. Should we wait until the very end and each of us announce, or should we, as we get to the thing we're going to marry, just blurt it out? I will marry you. Because I kind of like that idea.
I like that too. I also
Okay, fine, let's do it.
Okay.
Yep. I was actually more toward like, hey, maybe we should wait until the end, but I just love the idea that when we get to it, let's do that. All right, cool.
So, starting it off, actually the last thing to get like killed, not end, but get killed. Garo Vanishing Line. So I know you said you might be watching more of it. Did you wind up watching more of it over break?
Unfortunately, since it was fuck you December, I did not have a whole lot of time to watch anything or do anything that that wasn't work related. Like, believe it or not, I was up until 3 a.m. getting that Christmas special finished, ready, so I didn't have to worry about it on Christmas.
I don't believe you. Wait, no. That is the easiest thing to believe that you have literally ever said to me. Because I know how you do.
Yeah. So I was not able to watch any more Garo. I'm probably going to watch a couple more episodes after because while it was a show that I killed, it wasn't a show I hated. It was something that I still got entertainment out of. But it just lost me.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it that final fuck, and it died because you guys both killed it. And that was the most half-hearted fuck. Honestly, that was I'd watch another episode of it, and then...
Feels like the definition of a pity fuck.
Yeah.
Well, you showed up begging.
Literally, the only reason I gave it that last fuck was knowing that we would have today's episode, and I would still be able to kill it in time to free up a slot for next season for something hopefully more interesting.
That's
which I understand. That's I don't know. Garo's just it's very by the books. It's very safe. It doesn't do anything dynamic with everything it has.
Here's the thing.
I wish it did more.
It's not even that it's safe. I don't feel like it's all that safe. I just feel like it's not...
Bland? I don't know.
It feels super bland.
Might be a better
Yes,
word.
bland is how Garo feels. And it's got so much visual appeal. It's got so much going on. And yet it refuses to do anything actually interesting.
I've seen a couple of people say, so this got on the list despite being a pseudo sort of sequel, which we typically don't do unless we have watched... Unless we are caught up. We don't want to be those guys shitting on things that people love because we don't understand.
Yeah.
I have seen a couple of people say, you might enjoy it more if you had seen the previous ones because a lot of especially my complaints about it doesn't do enough world building. I don't understand how this world operates. I've seen a couple of people say, you might enjoy it more if you've seen the previous ones because those cover that a little.
And that's the thing, and that's why we put the strict no sequel policy in rule, because who wants to watch 3 guys not enjoying something that otherwise could be enjoyed if you'd gotten the proper material beforehand? I mean, that kind of sucks for not only the people who are fans of it, but the people who aren't fans of it might be turned off the franchise altogether. So, that's... If it is true that, in fact, watching the first Garo, and I refuse to believe that watching the second Garo series would help at all. I've seen it. It is actually bad.
Everybody says it's bad, even the fans.
Yeah. So if, in fact, watching that first season would have made this better, I kind of feel bad that I didn't watch it because I've heard the first season's good. Like,
You're talking about the live action show?
Oh, well, no, I'm talking about the first anime.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in the first anime a couple times. And everything I saw of it was like, wow, this is really visually interesting. It's got some neat characters. Like, maybe it was good, and maybe that would have made this better. But
yeah. That said, I wonder if that is the case, if that would have made this good, or if it's the case that, no, if you watched that first one and enjoyed it...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you will also like this.
Then, of course, you are more likely to like this.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, but... It sucks because its highs were really high.
Oh,
Like, especially that episode with the deer. Like,
Yeah.
that fucking got me. That got me real good right here.
Yeah.
And that's why it was such a frustrating show, is that it's capable of so much better.
yeah. I don't mind tropey shows. I like My Hero, and it's got tons of tropes, but it also does well to subvert them when it needs to. It is also incredibly charming and very well told. This one is tropey in a lot of ways, and it thinks, oh, look at our fun tropes. And it's like, yeah, but when are you going to subvert them? Or when are these tropes going to build to something actually entertaining? And
The one that they subverted that I hated was they don't use the armor. Instead of getting the super, the Sentai outfit or Toku whatever outfit every episode, we get it twice.
Yeah, but that
3
didn't
times? I don't know.
That didn't feel intentional. That didn't feel like, oh, we're building this expectation and then we're pulling the rug out from under you.
No, none of that just I don't know. It felt like a lot of the execution here was lackluster for me.
Yeah.
I can see the makings of something interesting. I can see the makings of an interesting video game. I think if there was gameplay with this, I would enjoy it a lot more. But
oh man, can you imagine that? You'd have some cool gunning segments
That'd be
with
Devil May Cry
Luke.
shit, dude.
Yeah, and then meanwhile you're just cutting down swaths of enemies with sword and
That'd be fun.
oh man.
Yeah, it would have been a lot cooler.
Would have been better as a video game. There you go, Jeff. Mother's Basement. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, boy, if we've said everything, we might just fly through some of these, but
Yeah, I mean,
We just recently did Garo, so I don't think there's a lot to revisit.
Yeah,
I
that's
suppose.
true, too.
That's the only
why.
thing, because that's the only thing I have for that.
just because.
So I kept up with the reviews of Just Because.
Okay.
I like a good love triangle. To be completely honest with you, I can dig on that stuff. I'm not above some classic high school drama and stuff like that. I loved Ouran Host Club. I'm sorry, Ouran High School Host Club is actually like in my top 10 anime. I dig the high school thing, but I also just do not care about petty dumb bullshit. And this show was so cute to me at the start. Like, I'm sorry, the visit to the aquarium hit home in a lot of ways because the way these characters responded and talked to each other, when characters were getting along, I loved the show. But the moment there was conflict, the show became insufferable to me because the conflict was poorly executed. There wasn't enough going on with these characters for me to care about when things were going bad. But when things were going good, I was like, oh, he's playing with their little brothers, and they've got some tension between them, but it felt understandable. But no, I think Just Because starts really promising and then just kind of there are fans of the show though. I've seen it. People, it was still getting good reviews. People were like, oh man, the conflict between these characters is so rich. And I'm like,
I don't see it, man. I have friends that love it, and they're posting screen caps like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. It just feels like someone watching The Bachelor to me. Maybe if you like that.
and by the way, if you are a fan of Just Because, this is not me over here I don't understand how these idiots are liking the show. No, I get it. If you are into the show, I get it, but I also just don't get it.
I don't. I'm not going to pretend I do.
because I can see why people would like this stuff and how it probably resonates with some people. But for me, no way. I can get my drama in other places and probably better done.
See, I think this really drove home to me what I want in slice of life. Compare and contrast with the slice of life that I very much love this season, which we will get to.
Yeah.
But this felt like life viewed through an old-style TV with knobs where somebody took the saturation and brightness and turned them way down.
Yeah.
Not quite to black and white, but to this real muted, real... This felt like life on antidepressants.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Which is weird because the music contrasts that.
I know.
heavily.
The music is
The
great.
music is dumbly good. I cannot
Absurdly
believe.
good music.
Yeah, it was so. It's interesting because visually it's not bad either. Let's be honest. When the show wanted to look good, it could look really good. But yeah, there were just way too many muted moments. And while I think what they were trying to go for was this kind of like subdued look, like the ennui of like the end of high school going into college, which in Japan is a big deal.
Yeah.
High school is the last time you get to be a person for a lot of people.
That's why it's the most common setting for a lot of fiction.
Exactly. I get it. I get what it was going for. But maybe for a Japanese audience, or maybe for high schoolers, maybe for younger people, this resonates a little bit more. For me, I just felt done with it.
I'm not even sure that it was that the story wouldn't resonate with me. I think told in a different way, it might have, because that is a relatable experience. Maybe not quite to that point that the Japanese experience it, but I think it's a pretty universal experience of ending one portion of your life and not really being sure where to go next. But I think when it comes to slice of life, I need it not much, but just a little bit exaggerated. I think I need it tuned up just a little bit brighter.
I think it is similar for Americans with college.
Yeah.
I think with high school, for kids, high school is like, high school is over, college time.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a huge thing for a lot of, like, for Japanese students, though, no, college is going to college. This is the last core of my education, and I, like, cannot play around.
Yeah.
There's no playing around in Japanese college. As far as I've heard, seen, read, like, it is.
So Japanese colleges aren't expensive daycare centers like ours?
Holy shit. You're right.
Yeah.
Also, Japanese college will still get you a job.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yep, right. So let's talk about the American education system.
Now, I'm not saying don't go to college, kids. I am saying take a gap year so you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't rush into shit. Don't do that.
Maybe try a community college. See if your credits can
Play it
carry
safe.
over.
Play it safe.
Play it fucking safe.
Play it
Yeah.
safe.
Did you know Teen Titans Go did an entire episode about do community college first, don't go to college?
I did not know that, but it's good advice.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. Anyway, so...
And I hope it's different now. When I was getting out of high school and going into college, the kids who were going into community college, that was like a stigma. That was, oh, look at these losers who couldn't get into real college.
I don't think people think that anymore.
Nope.
I hope so, because that is such the smarter move.
My husband wants to actually work for a community college. He wants to be in like the operations, like shoot, I forget what that's called. Anyway, so just because bored us.
It's the only hammer that like the only character it really had that I think jumped out was the loud kid, because he's loud and he felt like a hammer sticking out that need to be nailed down to keep in line with everyone else, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Sports boy, camera chick.
Yeah.
They were the only two characters that I was consistently like, I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder how they're going to, like, then again, the camera chick, while very interesting, could be totally insufferable, because it's like, do you not understand, like, people's boundaries?
And she was so fixated on Sulk Boy for no goddamn reason.
Well,
yeah, like we're supposed to
what
care
do you
about
see in
transfer,
this dude?
Wait, no. There was a reason. We know why.
I don't remember.
I do not know why.
She was trying to get his picture. Remember?
But why?
The
But why him?
Because that picture, that was the one that she decided on. She was like, this is a picture that's going to win that contest.
Oh, so that was all just her sucking up to him to get his permission to use that picture she
Oh,
took?
yeah.
Well, that's even worse then.
Oh, yeah. No, like, she's a fascinating character. She's interesting, but she's kind of insufferable. And meanwhile, yeah, you're right. Sports Boy. I love Sports Boy. But yeah, the series was just trying to be like, nope, you're not allowed to be as interesting as you are. You're not allowed to be as fun as you are.
Yeah.
It felt like it was trying to pare everyone down to this really, as you said, like desaturated and muted level. And it just, I don't know, aside from the music, nothing jumps out. It is just background noise, which, hey, music was good for that.
Well, we will have a category to talk about music in the Fuck Buddies.
In the Fuck Buddies.
But in the meantime, quite possibly the thing we have the least to say about.
What?
DS Irae.
Oh, man!
Remember that shit?
I do.
So, Anime News Network.
Ooh.
I was scrolling down and I saw a review of one of the latest episodes. And I just because they always give like a small description that they take from the full review, and all it says is, while this episode clears up a couple of facts, it does nothing. It does nothing to parse down the incomprehensible mess that is this series. And I'm like, that sounds about right.
Sturgen von Wesselschnick the third is here.
von Baden.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, they're here. We're here with Bone Town. Everybody loves Bone Town. German Nazis, vampires, F-cup boobs. That's all I remember.
Japanese Nazis.
Japanese Nazis.
I think there probably were. Well, at least one or two.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So many fucking, like, god damn.
I just remember that big golden skull airship thing going through that portal and thinking, boy, this is really cool imagery, but paradoxically, the fact that this is so cool actually makes me less excited about the rest of this, because I have seen so many things that lean on that cool imagery that back it up with jack shit.
It felt like awful Hellsing. Like just
Yes.
I watched Hellsing Ultimate, and hey, those images were pretty cool. Let's try to make something.
Nazis and the undead. How could it go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was funny. God, I think we only watched 4 episodes total, including that fucking.
Yeah.
No, was it 3?
I think if you included the episode 0, we might have watched 4.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, it might have been 4. Wow.
I blocked that out. I don't remember.
What a fucking garbage pile of a show, and I am so glad it was the first to die. I don't know much. We already talked about the entire show because it died the first week. I'm not sure we have much to say other than, I really liked some of the imagery. Like, it actually managed to do some cool things every once in a while. Otherwise, it was the worst thing this season.
The only thing I heard was people going, "Oh, the light novel was better." That's great.
Okay.
The show sucks.
Was it though? Was it really? Wait, was it a light novel? I thought it was a
Visual novel.
Visual
Whatever the
novel,
fuck. Who cares?
Okay, well,
people that can't read.
Well, that is an important distinction, because you take this thing where the only thing that to recommend it is the imagery and tell me that the light novel was better, and I don't believe you. Now, as a visual novel, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a visual novel. I don't remember.
It feels like a visual. It felt like a visual novel.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, absolutely.
And that is an insult. That
Yes.
is wholeheartedly an insult.
Yeah.
Nothing should ever feel like a visual novel adaptation.
10 minutes of exposition. Did you catch all that? Okay, good. Time for high school. Sucks.
Sure does suck.
Yep.
Let's talk about Juuni Taisen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Because,
Yeah,
this we might actually have some shit to talk about, because
Yeah.
you said you'd been keeping up on it.
Yes. Yeah. So, remember how we said that?
Spoiler warning!
Oh, yeah. So, if you haven't seen the end of Juuni Taisen and care, tune out now. Okay. So, remember how we talked about the rat being the most interesting character just because he showed up in like
definitely more interesting than just because.
Yes. He kept showing up in every episode, but he barely did anything, and everyone recognized him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool concept. So I'm like, yeah, what happened? So I'm assuming this gets acknowledged and resolved.
Yes.
Okay.
In a very interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
So they kill everyone, and it's all down to Rad. Everybody dies in different ways. And by the way, so remember the bomb that the sheep had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody set us up it.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's 2000. What, 4?
4,
No, earlier
yeah,
than that.
just about.
Yeah, it's finally come around full circle. It's good again.
No. So I remember that dangling plot thread and thinking, fuck you. You teased the bomb for so many episodes, and then you killed... I understand the attempt at anti-climax here and subversion, but at some point you... Oh, hey, it's back. And the rat has it.
Oh,
So-
neat.
Okay, the build-up to this... I'm going to try and breeze through everything you guys missed. So, the rabbit is just the most murderous fuck in this entire thing. He just kills tons of characters. Kills the monkey. Kills who else did he kill? He killed the dragon and the snake.
So he killed the other dude?
Oh yeah, he killed the snake first. And in this scene, it's actually kind of a cool scene. He can't figure out where he is, so he has fucking Sato monkey throw the head as hard as she can up into the air, and fucking as the dragon's watching from up above because he can fly, he dodges the head. He's like, "What the fuck was that?" Catches it, and he's like, it's fucking my brother's head. This is weird. And then suddenly the fucking rabbit just jumps up behind him, and he's like, be careful, the rabbits, they can jump as high as the moon, and cuts him right in half. And that was one of the coolest scenes in the entire show, because the animation here is perfect. The framing is perfect. I was like, okay, Juuni Taisen, you still got it. You can still make these deaths cool and weird. And I loved the scene because I hated those brothers, and to watch that punk ass go out like that was perfect. I was like, thank you, Rabbit. You were the second most interesting thing in this show. Meanwhile, fucking Tiger meets up with Ox, and she's pissed at him. And you don't know why. So they start to get into a fight, but suddenly, fucking Bunny comes in with the brothers just, as his fucking puppets. And we finally get to see the ice thing get used, and we get to see a bunch of the fire. And really, the fight that happens here, by the way, it's weird. They drop the 2D altogether and go into the cel-shaded look. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. Okay. Like I've had real problems with the show and its inconsistent animation, but for some reason during this huge fight with Tiger, Ox, and the two dead brothers, it's gorgeous. So, long convoluted way, not too convoluted. It's a little convoluted but short. They beat the brothers. They beat Rabbit. Mm-hmm. But Rabbit at the last moment bites his own tongue, killing himself. And then somehow is able to control himself. Yeah, and the best part is he's now a pile of sentient limbs. Yeah, shit goes crazy after this because now they're finding these sentient limbs that can pull themselves together. It's a hobbling, terrifying mass. And I gotta say, this is one of the most best things, visual things that this series has done. So we find out that Tiger was saved by Ox on a battlefield at one point, and he doesn't remember her, and she's furious about it, but doesn't tell Ox. They end up reconnecting, but she's dying. Like, she gets hit by the fucking rabbit through the stomach, and she's about to die, and she's like, please kill me. Do not let me turn into that. And keeps the secret of why she's mad at him to her death, and he doesn't know. And it's actually a very poignant moment. It's actually kind of sad, like, wow, if she could have just said something, he'd have known why. Mm-hmm. So, kills her. And then it's fucking Ox against Rabbit. Which again, just a pile of limbs. And at the last moment, fucking Monkey comes out of there, pins him down, and is about to kill, basically as Rabbit's about to kill him, he's forming him back up. And the best part is Ox tries to bite his tongue to die, and Saru, the monkey, just instantly headbutts him and knocks his teeth out. Oh. Yeah, it's a brutal shot. It's like, oh shit, yep, I guess, what am I going to do now? And in walks Rat. Sets the bomb down, and walks the fuck away.
Okay.
And fucking Ox is like, I guess this is the best case scenario. And then they all blow up. The end of the Juuni Taisen. Rat wins. And while I sound really entertained through all this, it is a kind of a drag. There are good parts. I'm like, wow, they tied a bunch of stuff together, and I was like, well, while this series had a lot of ups and downs, I kind of wish we could have watched this through to the end, because while it cannot handle its philosophy well at all, its up moments were still pretty cool near the end. Now, the rat. This is where things got really cool for one episode, is that we find out what the rat's power is. Mm-hmm. He can run through scenarios and then decide the one he wants to lock into. So he goes through 100 different scenarios of how he could fight this war and win.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He goes through 100 of them, and in 99 of them, he fucking dies.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. That's fun.
And so he chooses the one where he gets to live and win. Mm. And we find out about this power in the best way possible. He sits down with, everybody clap your hands, because I can't remember his actual name. even though it's like his name means 12. And he runs. So he's like, "I'd like to have a little interview with you before you go. Is that all right?" No. Gets up, leaves, and dies. And then we go back to him. "I'd like to have an interview with you." No. Walks out, dies another way. And again, and again, and again, and you don't know what's happening. It's like, what is this fucking Groundhog Day bullshit? And then we find out at the very end, he's like, "I can't leave without having this interview." "Okay, well, guess I'm gonna do this interview." And he's like, "So what, how did you win? Like, what is your power? Everybody's got a power." And it's like, "I guess I'm talking about this." So he's like, "I have the ability to run through different scenarios, and then I can lock into the one that I want." And so he's like, "Well, that's cool. That's what I wanted to know. Go ahead. You can leave now. By the way, make your decision of what wish you want." And he's like, "All right, then. Well, I'm going to go off and figure out what I want." And guess what? That's actually the last episode. The last episode is him trying to figure out what the fuck he wants for a wish. And guess what his wish is?
What's that?
To know what he wants.
Yeah, that makes me... You had me right up until that point.
Yeah, I
Nope.
know. There's a certain... Look, I like, from a poetic standpoint, that's pretty, like, that's interesting, but it's also like, wow, okay.
This is a story by a person who has no clue what a story is. This is a person who, in middle school, came up with this idea. They drew a lot of cool concepts. They're like kind of like tight Kubo. They know how to make cool scenarios, but they don't know how to write for shit.
Oh my God, yes. If I could compare this to anybody, it's tight Kubo if he were off his meds. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh my God, this is... If you told me that this was a story by Tight Kubo, I would have been like, "Yep, I fucking believe it." Shit.
Yeah.
Way to go. Yeah, thank you. You finally... And no wonder the background sucked. Man, yeah, holy shit. This is Tight Kubo's take on fucking the 12 fucking...
So it sounds like it's still but. It sounds like I saved myself. And
I will say this. I can't personally recommend Juuni Taisen, but there were worse anime this season.
Yeah, they got killed long before it.
Yeah. Actually.
Well, with a notable exception. With at least one notable exception.
But let me say this. If you're curious about Juuni Taisen, you might actually find something that you'll like there. I can't personally recommend it, but if you watch it, you might like there's... Except for the Snake Brothers, they're terrible. But everyone else had something kind of neat going on. Like, and by the end of it, I'm not actually mad that I watched it. Like, it gave me the highs in Juuni Taisen for me were remarkable. So,
yeah, it sounds like something with good moments. But
yes.
I have no doubt that I had more aggregate fun listening to you talk about it just now than I would have sitting down and experiencing it for myself.
And that's the rough part. As going back and I'm like, oh, and then this cool part happens, and then this cool part happens. But then I remember watching it and thinking, oh man, I'm watching this. Why? Why am I suffering through this fucking terrible backstory for Tiger? Like, she became a drunk because she had PTSD. That should be really fascinating, but since he doesn't know how to tell a story, it's not.
You can stop at any time. You're your own worst enemy.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, that was Juuni Taisen.
I know some people really were looking forward to it. I know some people still really enjoyed it. I think the best thing I think it had for it was its art style. I really liked the art style. I liked the sketchy lines it had. Like throughout the whole show, I really liked that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The characters were very evocative in their design. It was cool.
Except for again the fucking brothers.
Yeah,
they were
bland.
They were the worst part of that show by a million miles.
Yeah,
because they tried to be like. Their characters tried to be subversions, and they fucking failed because they're just miserable little cunts.
It's just, try to turn into all these anticlimaxes and like, look at all these cool writing tricks I know how to do. Learn how to actually write first, and then do that. You're jumping the gun.
Yep, like everybody's middle school English teacher said, you've got to know what the rules are before you can break them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
done, buried.
Yep.
Goodbye, Juuni Taisen.
Ding dong, you're dead.
It's the year of the dog now. Let's hope this one doesn't bite.
Inuyashiki.
Oh.
Is it? No, it's
Yep.
not already.
Wow.
It is.
I can't believe we're already here.
Oh my God. Okay.
You gotta remember. So this list is ordered.
Oh, yeah, no.
I know, but I
In-
just can't believe.
It's
yeah.
in reverse order of the least voted to most voted on our original poll, and Inuyashiki was right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Those that voted. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
I would have not watched this. I had no idea. I probably would have because I knew it was
Yeah.
from the guy that made Gantz, and I fucking love Gantz. So maybe I was a little predisposed to liking this, knowing that. But
As a guy,
Man.
whose only knowledge about Gantz came from you.
you know just enough. I will say that.
Yeah, you want to talk about things that there are some real highs there, but I would have a hard time that I love that I would have a hard time recommending to anyone else.
Yeah.
Like I love Gantz. I would not sit here and tell you that you should read Gantz.
It's a hard thing to recommend, but I that's where I felt like I mentioned this a few times in episode when we broke this down in episodes that it felt like he learned a lot from Gantz for this. Like a lot of because Gantz has so many amazing moments. All of Osaka in Gantz is some of the fucking best like in fiction. It's so good. And it feels like the best Gantz moments just pared down, like the really poignant things that resonate with you. Like everything about Gantz I was trying to tell about humanity, about struggle, about conflict, about love, all this shit.
Side note, I finally watched Gantz Zero over the weekend.
Oh,
Yeah?
really?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have gotten shit from it if I hadn't already read that portion in the manga, because it gives you very little context. It just throws you right in like, hey, here you go. Here is this one arc that's this like seminal arc in Gantz adapted. But yeah, if you were going in there not knowing who the characters were, not knowing the rules of the universe, not knowing what the fuck was going on, it is not a good introduction to Gantz.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful thing for those of us who already know what the fuck Gantz is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I've seen your take on it. Do you think I'd enjoy it if I watched?
You
Considering
might.
that I know the basics.
I mean,
There'll be characters that you don't know.
All
That's
right.
the only thing. It's a different team.
yeah, but you know, if nothing else, it is a big, dumb, crazy fight scene with some actually real good CG animation.
I've seen.
Yeah, I heard the
I've
animation's
seen the trailers. It looked real good.
yeah, and you know, it is a low barrier to entry because it is a movie. It is on Netflix, so you don't
yeah.
have to. If you've already got a Netflix subscription, which we all do in 2018, or you know somebody who will let you use their login.
Anyway, so let's talk about Inuyashiki.
But
This-
yes,
Man.
but
What do you even say that we haven't? Yeah, I mean, we got here, but I thought we'd have more time, like you did.
I know. I was like, oh shit, it's already this. Because man, I could still talk for hours about this show. About there's just so much happening in this that I would love to. I need to read the manga is what I need to do, and then like do something else and do a video afterward.
Guess what else I did over the break?
Did
You've
you?
got to be.
I read the manga. So Tyler, our lovely camera person, picked me up from the airport, and I mentioned, hey, yeah, because he's also a big Inuyashiki fan, and I told him, yeah, I read the manga, and he said, oh, okay, are there any big differences? No. Are there any small differences? Nope.
Really?
It is an incredibly direct adaptation, like frame by frame, panel by panel.
Okay.
It is.
Right. Sounds right.
Yeah, it is the exact same story, exact same everything. If I had to tell you like which version to watch, I know like experience this story one way or the other. And for a lot of people that's going to mean the manga because Crunchyroll has the manga included in your if you have a Crunchyroll
Oh, yeah, that's right.
subscription.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Whereas a big reason why we're the only people talking about this show is because it was sent to die on fucking anime strike, which nobody has.
Yeah.
That said, so, you know, whatever way that you experience this story, please do because it's worth it. That said, all else being equal, if you don't mind shelling out the money, you know, jumping through the hoops, going to the trouble, watch the anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the dialogue I only realized when reading the manga, lots of Japanese dialogue, whether it's a translation issue, whether it's a cultural differences issue, comes across very stilted and awkward. And I don't think I realized how much of that was smoothed over by hearing the voice acting.
Okay.
Until I had to experience it without it and realized, wow, a lot of this dialogue is really fucking awkward. I think the translation was also, and I didn't read I don't know if there's a difference in the translation in the Crunchyroll version. That is not the version. I ordered all 10 volumes of it. Express ship to my mom's house where I was taking my Christmas break.
Nice.
Because I wanted to be able to talk about it from that different perspective for this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the translation also was just not quite as good.
Okay.
Do you know if it was Viz?
It was not. It was. I would have to pull out the actual thing.
Okay.
It was some like third string company that I hadn't heard of that brought it over to the States. Not Dark Horse. I would know if it were Dark Horse.
You would know if it were Dark
All right,
Horse.
fuck all this. I'll be right back. I have a volume in my bag.
Oh, yeah. No, go get it.
And we're back. And yep, here it is. Kodansha Comics.
Oh, Kodansha. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wait. So those are the people. Yeah. Here. Real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I think they are in fact. So Kodansha Comics. Yeah, they're not. Kodansha is an actual like. They're the what do you call it? People who own Shonen Jump. Yeah.
Okay.
They own so the idea that they have a company out here that concerns me a little bit because if I had to be totally honest with you, when Japanese companies try to make their own American branch of things, they're usually stepping into a field they know nothing about. So Viz, Dark Horse, they've been doing translations for a while. They know what real dialogue is supposed to sound like in our language and how to frame things appropriately. Sometimes they mess up, but by and large, you'll get a better, more I've seen the Hunter x Hunter translations online comparison to a professional doing it, and it's night and day. So I would not want to see somebody who's not a professional at already doing this handle that stuff. So yeah, it does not shock me at all that Kodansha's American branch probably has a very literal translation and it's not entertaining.
Yeah, so I have no idea if it's the same translation on Crunchyroll, if they just licensed that, or if they had to do their own, or what.
It's almost certainly the one that you have in your hands.
Yeah,
there.
probably.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that said, regardless, I ordered these because I've embraced the e-reader revolution when it comes to textbooks, but I cannot read a comic on a screen. If I have any other option, I will always take it. I want to hold it in my hand. I don't want to have to try and scroll and zoom and pinch and no, I want.
I agree. I think there is something about physically turning a page and seeing if you get a 2-page spread of something. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like those good moments.
That is the worst part about doing manga. On
a
online.
screen, going through. Okay, see the next page. Oh, cool. I mean, still works, but yeah.
I am sure eventually new comics and manga will be created for the e-reader experience, and I think that will be really cool and interesting, seeing what they do differently when that is the primary platform and not the secondary one. That said, seeing something that was composed for the page crammed onto this, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Actually, interesting that you should say that. One Punch Man is an online.
Yeah, the original.
No.
Right?
Both the new one.
Oh, really?
Yusuke Murata's one is online.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are some huge differences between the paperback release and the original online release.
Wow, I didn't know.
There's one scene that infuriated people. That in the original online version, there's this shot of Speed of Sound Sonic zooming around Saitama. Yeah, no, the mangaka, Yusuke Murata, the mangaka, was like, all right, I'm going to do 5 pages of just a shot of it turning around Saitama. There was another one where Genos fires his blast, and it's literally 6 pages of just following the blast.
That's cool.
They had to be changed for the release, like the paperback release, and they used the paperback release for the anime.
Oh, okay.
And people were furious because it was like that was the coolest part about the online version is that since they didn't have to worry about the how the pages went, he just fucking went balls to the wall with it. And it was crazy.
Yeah, see stuff like that. Like I think right now we're just beginning to see that potential Whereas most of the time, even when they are originally digital releases, which more and more stuff is, because why would you kill a tree?
Yeah.
But it's still at that nascent stage. It's like back when films were just stage plays that you pointed a camera at before anybody figured out, oh no, we can actually get close-ups of our actors. Oh, yeah, they haven't made, and I know this is a cliche, they haven't made the Citizen Kane.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, the cliches work, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Inuyashiki is a panel for panel remake of adaptation of the manga. That's interesting. That's cool. That explains a thing or two.
Yeah. The one difference, Shion, way more panty shots in the anime or in the manga.
Oh, really?
Thank
And even then, compared to Gantz, it is not gratuitous at all. But that's because
Compared to Gantz,
Yeah.
it's like, compared not as filthy as going to the local sex shop. No.
Yeah, compared to Gantz, I could take off all my clothes right now and I wouldn't be as gratuitous as Gantz.
Yeah. So, like, I guess, like, what I noticed from this, having associated this author with the Gantz, is I do notice some of those trends, and I'm glad that a lot of this feels like a mature assessment of the schoolboy fascination he was having with the power fantasy of I'm a normal dude who can now do crazy things, and what do I actually do in the real world? Gantz dealt a lot with that.
Yeah.
Inuyashiki deals with this in a much more grounded, realistic sense, and I think the world is actually built to serve this ultimate purpose of what would somebody actually do? Let's have a fun little thought experiment on if we had these superheroes. What if, a kid on the internet actually got this power that he loves seeing in fiction?
Yeah, and it's good because you see it from two different, like you get these two diametrically opposed like concepts of what to do with this power, and I love it. Some people might not like the monochromatic take on it. But for me, if you get too much into the gray, you can lose a theme. So the fact that we have this strong, pervasive theme from start to finish with this red and blue, is very good. I was very, very happy to see that they do enough to keep things interesting, but don't muddy it up enough to where you're kind of confused as to the message, as to its goal. It resonates at every point effectively. Though I will admit, my biggest problem with this is it kind of its pacing. I felt like it needed some more time. I felt like there did need to be more, especially when we have a couple of episodes of Inuyashiki. But then we kind of nosedive into Hiro, and as much as Hiro is a great antagonist, it did kind of frustrate me that it became almost all about him near the end. Like, Inuyashiki still has a place and a purpose, but Hiro becomes the dominating factor of the series. And I was still ready to get to know more about Inuyashiki, to follow him around a little bit more. But if the worst thing I can say about this show is that it left me wanting more, that's not a bad thing to say. I mean, that's not the worst thing.
I felt that in the moment, I think a lot of the not knowing where it was going to go. In retrospect now, I think I deeply appreciate the moments we had with Hiro. From his introduction in episode 2, where we see him murder that family, he skyrocketed to one of the most compelling characters where I wanted to know what made him think that. Why, it's the fascination with true crime that people have. I think I brought that up before when we talked about this, that people, the whole portrait of a serial killer fascination. People want to know why, what led to this, how can we fix it type of thing. And that's not what this show is necessarily concerned with. It's not concerned about how we can fix this. It's concerned with, is that still a person? Is he still, who is he? Let's just say, who is this guy? And who is this hero? And what can anybody that is like him kind of, how are they viewing the world? And what does that lead to? Ultimately, what does this outlook lead to? And I think that is more compelling to me. And this show does not shy away from showing anything disturbing to get to the real nitty gritty and make you question, is it okay? Oh my God, he just healed these people. How do I feel about that? You know, what does that do?
I can't remember a more powerful introduction to what is very much a villain than episode 2 of Inuyashiki. Because it comes out of nowhere. It is utterly brutal. And the fact, it can come off as, what's the term? Not gratuitous.
Exploitative?
Exploitative. It can come off as exploitative, but there's just this feel about it that's very genuine, and it's like, no, you need to see this. You need to see what this person is doing. You need to feel what this person is doing because it is demonstrous, but there's just this uneasiness throughout all of it that just kind of keeps you grounded from thinking, well, this is hilariously over the top.
Yeah.
No, and again, I just couldn't believe as I was watching that, I'm like, oh, the response from Hiro is so inhuman that it's actually got me really like the fact that he's like, please just kill me, not my son. And Hiro's response was, no. I'm like, okay, that was the right response to get me to feel like this isn't funny. This is like really fucked up. But it also didn't go into that place where like, well, this is really fucked up. This shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, it doesn't go into, it does not relish in how gross it can get.
No.
That's the thing. Is like, I think it can turn people off, and I will not slight you if you can't handle the violence of this show.
Yeah,
it's intense, but it is not doing it to. It's not a gore porn.
Yeah. No,
it is not that.
Yeah, it is. It is not trying to entertain you with this violence.
No.
And that's important.
Yeah, it takes it just exactly as far as it needs to go to support the themes that it wants to examine.
Yeah.
It at no point does it indulge in it for its own sake.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of I don't know. It feels like taking like a look at, Dio from JoJo's. We can get him going nuts and, oh man, Dio's so cool. Look at all this crazy shit he does.
The violence that Dio does is 100% like, he just cut off that cat's head and put it in that guy's drink. This is not.
Yeah, that's great. But it's like, let's get real. Because there are those monsters out there. How now what? And it's compelling. It's something that I think a lot of people turn a blind eye to, and specifically the moment that comes to me the most, because I think it resonates a lot with us, is the People of 2chan episode.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot get that out of my fucking head.
Yeah,
because if that isn't the most like poignant critique address in modern fiction of internet culture, I don't know what is.
I will say, some of the episodes between those kind of got up and down. I felt like People of 2chan was where the show started to kind of wobble a little bit, because you can kind of see where the mangaka is trying to wrap up some threads, trying to get things together, ready for this big finale. But yeah, People of 2chan is such a contemporary episode.
Yes,
it is so like, and when I said earlier about art that has a focus, that has a goal, that episode in particular, that story in particular, is the perfect example of what this mangaka is about. His outlook on humanity, criticism. It's so interesting.
Do you want to know exactly how contemporary this story is? So in the anime, in the anime, it's President Trump. In the manga, the first time that meteor is mentioned, it says, and President Obama has released a statement. And I'm reading that, I'm like, oh shit, is that scene gonna be Obama on the TV?
No.
And no, by the time it gets to that scene, the election has happened and it's President Trump.
Oh, Trump's in the manga?
Yeah, Trump is in the manga.
Shit.
Oh my
God.
God.
I didn't even think about that.
That is how of its moment this is that is the timetable. That is the exact timetable it takes place over.
Yeah, just for... That's the thing about this. For right now, for what this season, this moment of everyone thinks the world sucks. Everyone thinks like, man, how can shit get worse? Please, a meteor come wipe us all out. Really? Yep. Come on, dude.
And that is actually the one other place that it's even slightly different is the manga does have just one or two more scenes, and by scenes I mean like panels of the world, everybody thinks they're gonna die. The world is just crazy and empty, and nobody's on the street because nobody's going to work, because why would you?
Yeah.
Just the tiniest little bit more of that, which I feel like it does benefit from.
Oh, that's the one thing I did wish was more explored in the finale. So that's cool. I'm still gonna read it anyway.
Actually, if we can talk about how people respond, there is one thing that I really didn't like about Inuyashiki, like that I can actually point to and say this is actually just wrong. The response from the public about the killings. Yeah, Japan doesn't respond that way to violence like that. They're actually very proactive about like, oh shit, okay, everything's on lockdown. We have military out there. People aren't allowed out. Martial law would have gone down if something like this happened. Like, and some people from Japan were like that was actually a big criticism. Like, wow, okay, this kind of paints us all as fucking idiots. And it's like, by and large, I can understand people not giving that much of a shit on the ground level. Government, no. Government's very serious about this sort of thing. And so to that extent, I thought it was weird. I was like, why does this bother me so much? And somebody else mentioned to me, like, yeah, that's not how Japan would respond. I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, you're right. That isn't how the government would have responded. They would have put on that shit under martial law instantly because there was a guy on the loose killing people who they needed to catch.
Yeah, I think that's something that doesn't bother us as much as an American audience, because that probably is a lot more true to how America would have responded.
Yeah, it's kind of sad
because we do kind of we have to keep going about our daily lives even when horrible things are happening right next door.
But Tokyo itself, and concerns with the government, it is such a technically smaller country that again, locking down Tokyo is an option. Like that, and again, imagine if this were happening in New York. No, people wouldn't have been allowed on the streets. It's easier for us, say in Dallas, to be like, yeah, but it's such a widespread out area. Yeah. No, this was like fucking Shinjuku. That place would have been emptied by the police. So to that extent, that thing bothered me, and I'm like, that maybe it was the mangaka just saying look, I need this to I know that even if he knew that it was wrong, he needed to tell a story, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think the other thing that kind of strains credulity in that same way is the response to the meteor. Yeah. Because realistically, the streets wouldn't have been empty, they would have been full of rioters.
Oh, yeah.
And there was some of that. There were the people streaking through the subway world's ending crazy, but those people were the minority. Most people were either just going through the motions because they didn't know what else to do, or just staying home with their family.
That's very Japanese.
Yeah.
I actually think that's more accurate.
I just think in general, more depictions of a variety of what would be happening at the end of the world. I think all of us would like to see.
Yeah, I agree. There probably would have still been riots, but
but we didn't see them.
In the United States, oh shit, no, shit would have gone crazy. Yeah. In Japan, though, there's a lot of focus on family. There's an understanding about death that is more prevalent. People will still freak out. They'll be like, oh shit, we're all gonna die. But there's a different culture there, so I'm not too surprised if things didn't go too crazy. But I agree, it would have been nice to have seen more variants. The most we got was, wow, everybody cleared out, and you get a couple of streakers. It's that's
Yeah. That said, those sequences were so haunting that if you want to call that a flaw, it's an easy one to forgive, because it gives us these eerie, empty streets, empty subway. It feels like the world's already dead. It feels post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it does. And it's it's really, after following the scene of, oh my God, I saved all these people, yay! And it's but what'd you do? And it was, it's that compelling force that kind of needed to happen to get him out. Yeah. So I'm okay with it.
But yeah, so...
Yeah, I don't know that there's much else to say.
I could go for hours, but I will not. The thing is, okay, Inuyashiki moved me more than any piece of fiction has in maybe a decade. It's been a while. I cried so much at this show. I took away so much for me personally, and it helped shift my outlook on things, on life, on what I appreciate. The really transient and fleeting moments that I have with my family. Seeing that and then going, okay, I get to spend the holidays with my family. I'm going to enjoy it because who fucking knows what's going to happen? And it really helped do something outside of just entertain for me. And when a piece of entertainment can do that, when a piece of fiction can do that, despite all its flaws, despite its pacing issues, despite everything that it really fucked up along the way, that is the mark of something truly remarkable for me. That is an intangible quality of something that might not be perfect, but is damn near close for me. If you can move me in a profound way, that's the best thing you can get from me. And can I say it?
You can. Say it.
I'm marrying Inuyashiki.
I can't wait to go to the ceremony.
This show made me cry and treasure life more than Nier Automata's up there. But between in this year of robots dealing with what it means to be human,
we have Hero.
Yeah. This show did everything I wanted and more that I didn't even know a show could do. It's inspirational for me as someone who enjoys writing, as someone who likes exploring philosophy and subversion of everything. This show handles it with a tact that you will be hard pressed to find in anime, much less film, stuff like this. I really enjoyed it. I really loved Inuyashiki, and despite all its barriers to entry, I cannot recommend it enough. Get that Anime Strike subscription, watch it, cancel it, done. There you go. We're not paid
and Made
for
in Abyss, and watch Made in
and
Abyss.
watch Made in Abyss, so you can be that. We're not paid by any of this shit. I'm not shilling out for anything. Just watch the show, cancel it, done.
Yep.
It's fantastic. I cannot recommend this show enough.
Unless Anime Strike wants to, start giving us money, in which case...
Then maybe.
In whiwhich case, then we will say full disclosure. This program is and then we will gush. But as of right now, no sponsorships other than the fine folks at Patreon. Thank you as always.
Yes, thank you. All right, I think that's everything I have to say for Inuyashiki right now.
For me, Inuyashiki is a series that I desperately needed, something that was raw and emotional and meant something. It had some amazing highs, and its lows are entirely forgivable for me. Even the thing that I was talking about earlier, I was like, well, that was just wrong. Okay. There was one flat out wrong thing in a sea of things that it did way more than entertain me. Mm-hmm. It shocked me. It shook me. It made me feel hopeful in contrast with these terrible things. And I truly did get a lot out of it. Unfortunately, my heart belongs to another.
That's about where I'm sitting. I love this show. This is an amazing show, and I hope that everybody out there watches it one way or another, experiences the story one way or another.
Yeah.
It has flaws. It transcends them beautifully. And it came down to the narrowest of margins. But we will see.
Okay, all right.
As we progress on the list.
Oh, shit. I thought you were going to marry it with me. Okay.
Gosh, I thought I would too.
This is interesting now.
Now I'm excited. I thought we were going to be like, okay, double Inuyashiki. He's probably going to pick this other show. I won't say it, but.
Oh, and now I'm kind of curious what show you think it is.
I'll tell you after.
Oh, yeah. Save it, obviously.
But that's why I think this was the right way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Man, way to go. Also, I can't wait for the Inuyashiki movie. Apparently, that's happening. I don't know.
Live action movie. We shall see.
Fingers crossed.
There is a trailer out.
There is. Yeah.
Oh, there is?
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It was
Regardless, I have it. I don't care how the movie is. I have it in manga and anime form, and both of them, I assume, are fantastic. So check it out.
I hope you have many children.
Thank you. We will. Me and old man Inuyashiki on a meteor.
Look on the bright side. You don't have to share your new blushing husbando with me.
Do you know how many holes he can generate?
Are your children going to be meteorites?
Oh, yes, they will. Tiny little moonstones.
I love you.
Oh, this was always the hardest transition. until we finally killed it and I didn't have to make it anymore.
Oh, no,
do
tell me
I have to
it's
do
not.
this?
King's Game the animation. What even is this show? Did either of you wind up watching any more of it?
No.
No,
After we killed
I
it?
didn't, only because it was spoiled for me what the ending was.
Wait, I don't know why I said no. Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know, the only reason I didn't finish it is because it ends with those 3 dreaded symbols. Suzuku. To be continued.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to watch it, but then I heard it ends on a cliffhanger.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually.
Really?
No, it's just the horror to be continued. The end, or is it?
Hand
Oh,
sticking
okay,
up
so-
out of the
oh.
grave.
Oh,
the,
okay.
The story proper, both stories come to a full end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, shit, now I have to watch it. But tell me anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody sent me on Twitter a link to a headline that read,
This is a King's Game. Yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
King's Game. Yes, I remember.
yeah, something like King's Game. hinting at-
Promises, hints at another season.
second season. And
Yeah.
I replied, wow, that's a weird way to spell threatens.
Yep. Actually, funny enough, the Anime News Network review said, finally, in its last moments, King's Game delivers something truly terrifying. Yep, and it was literally it was the to be continued.
That's good.
So, all right, where we last left off, all these idiots were running.
Yeah, running to the mountain.
Running to a mountain.
World's slowest foot race.
So then what happens?
Guys, I don't know how to even talk to you about this.
I'm sad I would have watched it now. Damn it.
So, remember motherfucker who fell into the ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't dead,
Good.
so his death counted. So
they're fine.
Well, kinda.
So what's her face and what's his face still live?
Yeah, well, they still live, and on their way to this fucking temple or some bullshit out in the it looks like some ancient structure.
Mm-hmm.
They make their way there, and fucking Natsuko sets up these fucking traps to kill people in the most fucking wacky racers way possible.
Are we talking like Jigsaw levels? Like fun traps that are creepy?
Well, sets up like these little things for people to get their legs caught on and break them, and then other characters start betraying characters out of nowhere because fuck
you have to.
Oh, so it continues to be King's Game?
continues to be King's Game, and at the very end, so it's oh Jesus Christ! At the very end, the last people who make it are the little gay dude, the one with the hat. Yeah, the one.
I'm glad you're the one that said it.
Oh no, he's definitely gay.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, no, had a thing for Teruaki.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat that it's never actually explicitly said. Although the fact that he dresses and
Oh.
acts the way he does is like, okay, that
Yes.
kid's gay. Natsuko lounges around rich girl and fucking Nobuaki.
Okay. Couldn't open a soda can with her nails.
Yeah,
right?
that
Yeah.
bitch. God, I hate that scene. I hate that scene. I hate
Dumbest piece
everything,
of shit.
everything about that scene. So they get there. And I think there's also Glasses Girl. I think she's still there.
Okay.
And their next, oh my God, the next order is everybody has to cut off a limb and make a body out of the limbs.
I need to see this now.
I want somebody to make a greatest hits compilation of this shit so that I don't have to
Yes.
watch the whole thing.
And
Yes.
so the next thing that happens is that little gay dude is so far gone, he's like, all right, let's fucking do it. I'm ready. You ready? And Natsuko, for some reason, has a chainsaw.
Do you want to build a corpse, man?
Where did this bitch get a chainsaw?
Who cares? She's got a chainsaw now.
Logic.
No, she's got a chainsaw now. And is she on fire when she uses it?
No. But hands it to little gay dude, who then immediately starts cutting off his leg because he's insane now.
Okay, so it is
Of
Jigsaw.
course.
All right.
And dies from it. Just
Yeah,
flat out
yeah.
dies because of course you would.
Yeah.
How you cannot get through sawing your own leg off without going into shock and dying.
Okay, maybe you can.
Yeah. If your life was depending on this game that you had to win.
So he dies. And then fucking, I believe Glasses chick just gets taken out like a bitch because, well, I mean, she was not even close to a
Who's the head?
important character. Hold on. Getting to that.
Okay.
So it's Nobuaki, Natsuko, and can't open a fucking soda can to save her life. And obviously there's an argument, people, and so they're having this philosophical conversation, and finally Natsuko's like, yes, I know about the fucking symbols. And they're like, oh, well then why don't we figure it out? And she's like, fuck it, why not? So they write it all down, and literally it says, as long as one survives, the game will continue.
Okay.
So they realize, oh, so since we carry the virus, as long as one of us survives, it will be spread, which is why when Nobuaki joins that class, boom, everyone's infected, which, by the way, the virus thing, still a thing, still terrible.
Yeah, still dumb.
And so Nobuaki is talking with fucking what's-her-face. I cannot remember the series of events that lead up to them all dying. They all die, by the way. All three die.
Shoot. Okay.
But Nobuaki is getting love confessed to him by what's-her-face. And fucking Natsuko just comes out of nowhere and hits him in the neck.
Okay. Yeah.
And through one way or another, I believe fucking the girl's what's her face is dying and gets as she's about to finish off Nobuaki, fucking the chick comes behind her, rams the fucking chainsaw through Natsuko's midsection. I cannot. Oh right, that doesn't kill her. That does not kill her.
Okay.
So rams it through her midsection, but Natsuko still has enough energy to kill Can't Open Soda Girl. And then as they're dying, Natsuko confesses her love to Nobuaki.
Yes!
Because
why not?
This was a harem show the whole time.
But nobody did anything. Lame. It's replacing all the dates and ecchi moments with death, but really bad death.
Oh yeah, by the way, this show just does not know how to do a clever death. It just does not.
Nope.
It had 3 of them, and then the rest of them were all just really dumb bullshit. Which is amazing, because with a show like this, you could be like, I've got 99 deaths just ready to go, and they're all different and terrifying. But no, head falls off, limbs fall off, jumps out a window, whatever.
Spark from the microphone ignites my body, leads me aflame, then I go and proclaim anything fun. Nothing fun.
Nothing fun. Nothing in the rest of the show tops Girl on Fire.
Girl on Fire was a profound moment. It was a life-changing moment for me.
There will be categories.
Yes, there are categories.
For this moment to have its due in the Fuck Buddies.
What was it, episode 6? I think
I think it was episode 6.
Yeah. Episode 6 of King's Game made me realize that I enjoy chaos.
Oh, yeah. I mean, remember, we were there with you.
Oh, I know.
We were there with you. We were like, this shit is hilarious. Why can't the rest of the show be like this?
The difference is we didn't try to keep chasing that high.
No, and I foolishly, I delved too deep. I thought that maybe I could chase it and capture that majesty again. But lo and behold, nothing hits like the first time.
Nah.
And you're always going to be chasing it.
Don't chase that dragon, bro. Don't chase that dragon.
The thing in King's Game's favor is its insanity. It is its chaos. It is at its best when it fucks its own rules and says, who cares? Do this. It is at its worst when it's trying to be compelling and be a drama and have any character have any semblance of depth. Like, oh, I liked you for 2 seconds, but haha, now I betray you, and that's something interesting. No, it's not.
I firmly believe that, I tend not to talk about the mangaka as people, because I don't like to talk about who they are or what they are. I just try and go by the intent of their work, because I don't know whoever wrote this. I don't know, what kind of person person is. But holy shit, I think they're narcissistic idiots if this was a legitimate attempt at writing something, because Nobuaki is the worst fucking Gary Stu. I'm gonna sacrifice myself for people all the fucking time, and every girl fucking wants to ride my dick.
But I can't. I'm too busy saving everyone.
The Messiah complex on this
Yeah.
fucking kid is so profound that by the end of it, I couldn't believe the mangaka dared to put his name on this little shit.
Well, that's the thing. Not mangaka.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
cell phone cut.
Yeah, I think knowing that this originated in this vastly different format, which seems tailor-made for the most bullshit, is
Yeah.
the only thing that makes this make the slightest amount of sense.
Yeah, and if I just gotta wonder if it's better like that.
I don't.
I highly doubt it, but I don't know.
Also, this series profoundly handicapped itself by trying to tell two stories at once.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
the finale of that first story comes like in the middle of the other.
Yeah.
Like it has no narrative or thematic coherency between the two of them. It just comes to an end. By the way, the last part of the King's game had Chami have to kill herself in front of Nobuaki. And again, no thematic coherency between it and the events that were going on, like on the other stories.
Yeah.
So it
And-
was like, well, that happened.
And you were right, by the way. In the original, it was told in chronological order.
Yeah.
And then in the adaptation, they decided to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That-
so the story
total misstep. Should've
was
done that.
never meant to be structured this way. That was a total shoehorn for this. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Which-
that was bad.
Yeah. Again, explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know. You mentioned a greatest hits. You could get your enjoyment of King's Game just seeing the funniest shit, the death compilation.
Actually, I disagree. Because none of this stuff would have affected us as deeply as it did if we weren't
yes, I know where you're going.
entrenched-
Yes.
entrenched in
Yeah.
the rest of the bullshit. Because when those big moments happen, it felt like a dumbgasm. Like you have to build up to it. You can't just go right into it.
No, yeah, we're because we're on the roller coaster track, and so far we're going nowhere. Little do we know we're actually on a steady incline and are about to plummet into insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, though. It's like, a good roller coaster, like, it's that mounting tension. This had none of that.
No, it's just-
This is, just.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, trust me, if I felt like the highs of its dumbness were, if we had more of those girl on fire moments, I might be able to say, dude,
Yeah,
grab a couple of friends, get blazed off your ass, and watch this show. But I will not. I cannot and do not watch King's Game. As fun as it may sound, to hear us suffer and us like read back these terrible moments, it is not worth it. Like at all.
You have to sit through a lot of garbage.
Yeah,
I was hoping you would get more of that because that payoff. We were stuck in this, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. Is that we'll ride in for it some more because then we'll get a next girl on fire moment, and it didn't come.
Yeah, it never came.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't even bother, like, because again, if you look up the greatest hits, they won't make sense.
That's true.
They won't be as hilariously dumb because the moment with him cutting his hair is not nearly as funny.
No, you don't know
what
where
came
everything
before it.
stops to do the haircut. That is what's funny.
The haircut scene is the closest thing we get to another.
Yeah, that's the
girl on fire
closest girl
moment.
on fire.
Shit. And I was in the shit up until then, and it was
Yeah.
still that was just more
It's
shit.
it's just shit. I haven't seen anybody like defend this show or say they
Oh,
really
no.
liked it. I think everybody's kind of in for the joke with this one. So if you haven't seen it yet, you're not missing anything. If you were along for the ride and you watch anime, I'm sure we had some good laughs. But
We had some
I have
good-
no interest in checking out a new one.
We had some good laughs tonight, but remember, King's Game is not a good show, and we don't recommend it to anybody. Please consult your local doctor.
Yeah. Over the 9 weeks that we've been doing this show, I think there's been plenty of me railing against King's Game. I don't feel the need to do it again.
All right.
Kino's Journey.
Oh yeah,
So
this is good. I did want to talk about this a tad.
I wish I'd continued watching it a little bit. I do have to admit.
Yeah.
I think we'll have some more to talk about. I think, yeah.
But,
So
yeah,
the thing-
did you wind up watching any more of it? Kieran?
No,
or
I didn't.
either of you actually. But-
No, I didn't watch any more of it. The thing that I came to when I voted to kill it, I still kind of stand by what I said. I think what's here, what Kino's journey is it's doing something different than a lot of other fiction nowadays is doing. It is more evocative of parables, fables, fairy tale stories. That's exactly what it is. It's modern fairy tales, Gulliver's Travels level shit of just look how fun this is. Fancy this thought experiment for a bit. And then there you go. You're done. Who knows? This adaptation really dropped the ball with a lot of the concepts that were there. The things that I really enjoyed, I think, were in spite of the show. I think the animation was fine. There were a lot of episodes where it wasn't really consistent. Could have been better. The presentation was a little lackluster. I would have liked more varied moments, like the girl on the mountain with the colonists or whatever. Because we have like those stark moments with the red and the blacks, and just nice anything visual to help carry that our themes are about morals, about society, politics, anything. That's the fun part about Kino's journey is it could literally be about anything. Hey, tune in, see what it's going to be. But this adaptation just really struggled with balancing what I think could be genuinely compelling stories, but either told them too slow, too fast, or tried to put too many of them together. Just consistently, it dropped the ball where it came to conveying what I think the source material actually would probably do better. I think the light novel or the original series is the best way to experience this. For an celebration of the greatest hits, I appreciate what it's doing, but I think there are other ways to experience these stories than this version. Would I say it's terrible? No, but I don't think it's what it could have been.
Yeah. Throughout the entirety of the show, one of my comments early on was that the animation and the art, all I could say was, this is an anime that I am watching. Yeah. I'm watching an anime. There was nothing that stood out about it to me, and the few moments where they did try and do that were moments I enjoyed and I thrived for, but otherwise, it's visually uncompelling. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do a lot with angles. It doesn't do a lot with color. It just did not do a whole lot. And this is a story that is demanding, because if I can't read, if I'm not reading it, if I can't read all the details about what's happening, I need some beautiful, make it worthy of being visual.
Yeah.
And they just failed to do that consistently. Combine that with kind of dry dialogue, and I'm okay with dry dialogue for the most part, but here, very rarely did I feel like things kind of jumped out at me with certain characters, especially since these are characters of the day, these self-contained stories. It's get a little crazier with it, right? But at the end of the day, while again the story with the girl and the colonists was exactly the kind of thing I was hoping for. Even then, going back to it, it's still plagued by some of the problems that the show had. It overcame that with a compelling story and a compelling series of events. Otherwise, again, I just found it dreadfully boring, and that's the worst thing I can kind of say about a show, which makes me sad because when I was entertained, I was way into it. I was like, okay, cool, we're back on. We're it's back on its good shit. Then it would go back on its bullshit, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about this show is that week to week was always a surprise.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
The downside to that is that it had 2 really lackluster episodes in a row and wound up getting killed.
Yeah.
That's just, when you put all your marbles in a bag and shake them up, then sometimes 2 black ones are going to roll out in a row.
But if there had been more solid episodes, because I talked about this with a friend, it's like, so what made you decide to want to kill the show? And I'm like, really, it all came down to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Some shows, this season, let's be completely fucking honest. We have 3 these aren't going anywhere unless they screw up terribly. But if they had a couple of bad episodes, say if MMO Junkie had a couple of bad episodes, I would have been like, okay, 2 bad episodes in a row. Let's see where this third one's going. With Kino's journey, with Garo, With that one, it was just up, down, up, down, up, down, down.
Yeah.
Like, with Kino's Journey, I was already like, we started this with like, I'm not feeling it. And so, yeah, when it came to 2 in a row, I'm like, I'm done. Like, it did not build up enough goodwill.
Yeah, it's not one of those that I feel good about killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
It's not like King's Game.
Yeah.
It's not like Dies Irae.
It's not.
It's
That's
not
the thing,
like
is it's
just
not
because.
terrible. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not like the worst. Like I understand when you say it's boring. I'm not gonna slight you for that. Like I get that. The show is asking you to. It's inviting you to come join it, and if you don't want to, then yeah, it's gonna be boring. If you can forgive a lot of that and engage with it, and kind of like place yourself in that scenario. Okay, I'm in a town with all these crazy immoral point system. Okay, I'm in a town where we're moving on tank treads. If you can engage with those like fun little experiments, that's where fables and parables work best, is when they are applied to real life.
Yeah.
Just fun, like, hey, that's cool. We can talk about that. That's why I enjoyed it. I was going like, hey, isn't that cool? But
It does demand a lot of benefit of the doubt
Yes.
going into
Yeah.
each episode, because it might be one of those really stellar highlight episodes, but it's more likely that it's going to be at best middle of the road. And if you go into it with your arms folded, like, okay, what bullshit are you going to show, then yeah, you are more likely going to have a bad time.
yeah. I think you have to be pretty receptive to it, and I think it was definitely bolstered from my view. I had a tiny bit of confirmation bias because I wanted to see where it goes, and I
Yeah.
knew it could do something well. I've heard the name, I knew it would be something interesting, and it was. I got that. I just wish this was handled a bit better. I think the execution really hampered this, and knowing that it originated from novels that are very highly cherished, all it did was make me want to read those instead. Because I like reading. I like if the story is better told in text form, I will experience it that way.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'm going to do. So,
Well, it's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about the novels.
I have too. And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of fans were looking forward to this adaptation because a lot of people fucking loved it. They voted on what they wanted these episodes to be.
Yeah.
I know people were looking forward to this. So it sucks. It's unfortunate. I might go back to it later, but I don't know.
Yeah, I considered going back to it because, you hear some scuttlebutt, especially over on the Discord. Some people keep on watching stuff that we've already cut, and it's always interesting hearing people's viewpoint on things. And I hear there's some real good episodes past the point where we cut it, and I
heard that too.
At various points, I thought, I should go check in on that. And the reason why I didn't was because, but I won't get to talk about it with you guys. I won't get to compare notes and compare responses, and that's half the fun for me. So without that, it's just not as fun.
Juuni Taisen, I don't know what it was about Juuni Taisen that kept me actually coming back, like in comparison to the other shows. Because when it came to Kino's, well, I wasn't a fan of it. Well, then again, I also watched King's Game, but that's because I had to see that craziness come to an end. Again, still don't recommend it. I don't know. Kino's, I felt bad about killing. I'll admit that. But that's only because I think its intent and the things that were good about it, I don't know. It tried to actually mean something. And I think that meant more than, say, King's Game, Dies Irae, hell, Garo.
Yeah, no, Kino's is definitely trying to do something more than Garo is.
Yeah, and that's, I will say that, like, I respect it for that. And the thing about Kino's Journey is that I can see somebody really liking it. But there's a part of me that's wondering if the people who really get into it are not familiar, or oh shit, this could be so mean or so snide to people, but
whatever.
I'm wondering if some of the people who really like it don't read a lot, or are not that heavy into media. Because if you take these as independent stories, these could be like, oh my god, that's so cool and that's so fascinating. But if you've read Gulliver's Travels, if you've seen a lot of stuff like this, if you read a lot of fantasy or dystopian fiction, a lot of this stuff has been done there and better. So if you like Kino's Journey, if you're really into it,
Check your local library.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, honestly, it is evocative of shit like Wishbone for me. Like, I'm not even gonna play.
Wishbone.
Like, here's the thing. Like, what this brought back, it reminded me, I think this is why you and I both like it. We both have smartificates in English. This reminds me of reading a text. I was assigned to read, some philosophy in any of my 12 literature courses. Okay, and then we're all gonna come back and whole classroom, we're just gonna talk about what this means. Yeah. I loved those.
Yeah.
Those are so fun. That is the part of discussing literature that I deeply miss, and I don't have that nowadays. So getting that kind of like that experience.
That's kind of what doing the show has become, is scratching that itch for me.
Yeah, so it's so nice to have that experience here, and I wish Kino's was just a tad better, because I feel like there were some really fun discussions, and the show is doing a lot. It's really trying. It's you're doing your best. You're trying, buddy. But
by the way, I love the idea that now every Monday we sit down and we talk about art.
And whether we want to fuck it. Well, let's talk about some more art that we might want to fuck.
tell me.
That we might even want to marry. I don't know. We'll find out. Recovery of an MMO Junkie. What a perfect little jewel this show is.
Right?
Oh, man.
Like, we talk about things that aim high and don't quite get there, like your Kino's Journeys.
Yes.
This is something that has kind of a moderate, not low by any means. Like, it gets into some thematic stuff, some, like, serious themes, but...
This is a very personal story. This is a very... and again, part of the story is how... there's a term for this. How close in vicinity of the story takes. There's not a grand scale. There's not grand thematic elements. It's all very personal between a select group of people who all happen to know each other.
Yeah, it's very contained. It knows exactly what it's reaching for, and it fully realizes it is exactly what it wants to be.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't. If this show got more heady, it would be bad. If this show got more exaggerated, it would be bad.
Yep.
This is it's the perfect through line of marrying the dramatic romantic elements with the fun pomp of playing games, with the dealing with anxiety and depression and isolation in a modern setting. Just how humans socialize in this year. So it's a very contemporary thing, and I loved it for what it is.
I wanted to talk about something last week, but I ended up getting too angry about a stupid detail. This show meant a lot for me for a couple of reasons. One, I grew up on the internet. I just did. I had the internet from the time I was 8, for better and for worse. And I have the internet in my pocket at all times. It is how I make a living. It is how I conduct my business, my pleasure. I cannot be without it. Except for when I'm in South Dakota in a beautiful cabin surrounded by snow and a hot tub. Anyway, so point being, the internet is a huge part of my daily life, and I am pretty sure I can say it's part of everyone in this office's daily life.
Yep.
But that wasn't really the part of the story that connected the most with me. It wasn't the internet. Morioka is kind of a pathetic person. But she's not a bad one. Mm-hmm. She deserves love. And there are things that she's very good at. She's constantly second-guessing herself and letting herself go because she doesn't see much value in herself. I'm going to tell you guys in the audience, and the story I'm going to give you here might sound contradictory to this, but don't judge yourself on how others judge you, but take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then why should other people do it for you? Why should other people care about you if you don't care about yourself? Back when I was 16 years old, I was madly in love with somebody. They're still in my life now, thank God, because they are irreplaceable to me. But at the time we were dating, I was 340 pounds. And I was totally happy to be that. I was okay with that. I was okay with being 340 pounds and wearing sweat shorts and tank tops. It wasn't a good look. I rarely dressed nice, and I didn't know about the news. I didn't know about modern entertainment. I only watched the things that I wanted to watch, concerned myself with the things I wanted to be concerned with. I was a high school dropout, and this person dumped me. And I was heartbroken, and it was the worst thing. It hurt so badly. And I finally looked at myself, and I thought, oh, shit. I wouldn't date me either. And this isn't saying, like, oh, do things for other people. No, it is 100% do it for yourself. Because if somebody else, if nobody else can see anything in you, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there really is just like, oh boy, what am I doing? But it really all comes down to, can you find value in yourself? And you have to work for it. It's not going to just be there. It's not something like, and I know, it's one of those weird lines that you want to walk of like, well, is my value comparative to how other people see me, or is it how I see myself? And sometimes it's really a middle ground. It really has to be this like, okay, am I doing this for them or am I doing it for me? And if you want people to love you and respect you, you've got to work for it. Because trust me, human beings are flawed, broken people. There's a lot of upkeep, more upkeep than you'd think. So this show with Morioka, I saw a lot of like, there's a person in there who could be really good if they put the effort forward. And so when it came to Sakurai seeing that in her, at that very end where she stops and she says to herself, I need to be a better person. I cannot drag him down. He loves me and he sees something in me. And I believe that. But I've got to be better because otherwise I'm not like, I'm just going to drag us both down. That scene meant more to me than almost anything else in the rest of the show. And I'm glad it was there because it was this close to being like, well, she's still kind of pathetic, but she got her boy. And that would have been unfulfilling to me.
Yeah. Totally.
Like we were coming to the end of the series. I'm like, is there going to be a moment where she realizes that, yeah, I should probably clean myself up? And that came. And some people are going to be, so I can already expect the comments of people who are going to be like, well, people should live the life the way they want to. And I'm like, okay, but
Then don't expect anyone else to care.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You cannot do that.
Yeah, you cannot. And God, this is really hard for me to say, but people do not love and respect people who don't love and respect themselves, and that's just the fact of the matter.
There's nothing malicious about that. You have to love yourself to be able to give extra. Like you can't put your value in other people, and you can't put it all in yourself. You have to balance it out.
Yeah, and some people are going to hear that, and that's they might dread something. Because I know some people out there who are going to hear that sort of thing and think, well, then I'm fucked. You're not.
No.
Yeah, there is nothing like, that is rough to take a deep, hard look at yourself and find yourself wanting. But you've got to take that as a challenge to improve yourself because there's nothing. I'm not going to sit here like Pollyanna and say everybody should just love you the way you are and you're perfect and you never need to change or grow or improve.
I hate that mindset.
Yeah,
no,
that is a terrible mindset, but don't take that the other way too, because there is nothing. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's nothing wrong with you. There probably is.
Because you're a human.
Yeah,
but there's nothing. The bottom line.
But there is nothing wrong with you that can't be improved.
Yeah.
There is always room for improvement. There is always room for growth.
Again, I used to be 340 pounds, didn't know how to socialize, would not have been able to speak in front of a camera for more than 5 seconds without falling all over myself. I did not know art. I did not know literature. I did not know people. I didn't know the news. I'm an okay person. I don't think I'm great. I think I'm okay. I'm doing an okay job, and you can too.
And you know what? This show, I was so scared it was going to go the other way and that it was going to relish and languish in the, I am addicted to all these games. I was worried it was going to be Umaru.
Oh.
That's what I was scared of because that is like the most damning thing about this like modern trend of entertainment is glorifying the fan, glorifying the person who says fuck it all and indulge. Consume!
Because Miyazaki was right. The worst thing to happen to anime were anime fans.
Well, then Gynax happened, and they're okay.
Well, okay, Gynax can be gone.
But that's what I was scared of. I was scared it was going to be one more of those. And thank God it wasn't. It delved just enough in it's a balance. Yes, you can enjoy that. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with playing a game. There's nothing wrong with watching your shows. There's nothing wrong with liking the things you like. Yeah. But keep yourself in control. Take care of yourself. And that was a great message that the show carried throughout its entirety. She's struggling. As if you watch the show, you know she had problems with it. It's not easy. But damn if they don't do their best to show you that it can be done. And it's so heartwarming too.
And the last thing I'll say, because I've been taking up a lot of this, just want to put one last addendum to what I said. If you're ever finding it hard to be that better person, if you're ever struggling, or if you feel like it's impossible, there are people out there that will help you. You can always find help. And one of my friends, I tell my friends this all the time when they're doing they're having a bad week or a bad month, or they're short on money, or they're just emotionally frustrated. And they say, I'm so sorry that you had to help me, or you had to hear me, or you had to pay for my drink or my food or whatever. And I'm like, dude, whatever. You're trying. That's all I care about. A very close friend to me, we almost stopped being friends lately. And this person means a lot to me. But he tries so hard every goddamn day to get better. And for a while there, he wasn't. For a while there, he was just flailing and fucking up. And it was frustrating because I couldn't be his friend then. But if somebody's trying, and I know they are, if they're working really hard, then obviously I'm going to help them. And obviously I'm going to try and be there. Now, some people, and do not look inward on this. Look outward on this. Yeah. There are sometimes people, obviously consider yourself at all times. But there are some people who, no matter how hard they try, they will drag you down. And be careful. Always keep, there are people who will just drag you down into the depths. But if you can see hope for them and they're trying their hardest, be there for them. Because people will be there for you too.
Yeah, but I think that's the great thing about that ending, is that it doesn't become Sakurai's job to shore up her self-esteem.
Yes.
It's not his job to reassure her, no, you're wonderful, yada, yada, yada. Instead, she takes his faith in her, his attraction to her, as a challenge to live up to. And that is the best possible way to see that. I want to be the person that he sees that I can be. Yeah.
We talked about this briefly in the Ancient Magus when Nevin was like, look around at other people. Other people are thankful you are here. And that's this show, again, treads on that. Oh my God, he sees this in me. I might struggle to see it, but I don't want to embarrass him. So I'm not there fully yet in myself, but until I get there, that's the key part. Until I get there, I'm going to try. I will be that person that he won't be embarrassed to be around. That is, I love that ending so much. What a great fucking message.
Yeah.
This show managed to defy almost everything I thought it would be. I know I married Inuyashiki, but damn if the show wasn't fantastic. And you say you didn't relate a lot to the internet elements for this. That hit me so hard here. I know you still did, but this... Man, if I just haven't been here, and I'm now living with my girlfriend I met on the internet. It's just all this shit. It's so relatable to me. And I've played MMOs before. I've met people like this. I've done stuff like this. There's nothing wrong with having fun with this show that is saying, look how fun it is to enjoy things. It's not bad to enjoy stuff. And I really enjoy the final shot of just them walking away and their characters knowing their job is done, fading into the background. Not meaning we can't visit them again. Not meaning that they are just completely removed from our lives. They still matter. But what they needed to accomplish is there.
They're now a separate
thing.
Yeah.
And if you want to visit them again, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can still do that. Being in a relationship and being able to play games together, fucking great. So good. You don't have to drop everything you love and that makes you to be with someone else. It was so good.
Yeah. Man, this show is just so solid from beginning to end. There's a couple of narrative mistakes, if I had to be honest. I felt like including a second game was not necessary. Like, that's the worst thing I can say about the story, though, is that, okay, one is a little, like, bit of a coincidence avalanche.
Yeah.
So narratively, is, you know, from a storytelling standpoint, had a lot of things line up there, which in reality, like, it's Japan, so more probable than here, but still, like, wow, they really all knew each other. I'm just glad that it was like 3 people that ended up knowing each other in real life by happenstance.
Yeah, well, and you could see a couple of the plot threads that were left dangling. I'm assuming not assuming, I know the mangaka has ongoing health issues, and so these were probably planted intending that she would go back to them, and then just couldn't. There was the blonde-haired girl who you see,
Oh yeah,
like once or twice in her real, like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
in her out of game identity.
And as you'll see, she disappears completely, and I think the mangaka was like, oh boy, I'm not gonna focus on that. I don't know if so I'm so curious if the ending of the manga is the same ending that we got in the show.
It is not.
It is not.
It does go on from there. I don't know much more about it than that. I have not read the manga myself.
Oh, okay. Do the same events still happen? It's just not the end of the manga? Do you know that?
That I do not know.
Okay. I'm actually kind of curious about that. It's apparently an online manga.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's
Makes
translated
sense.
it. I'm actually kind of curious. I want to figure that out.
You could probably read it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably got some furry gun on there.
Furigana?
But now, we've talked so much about this show, and it's, if you haven't watched it yet, and you're watching this on YouTube.com, there's probably something you can relate to in this show. Check it out.
Yeah, no.
You'll like it.
Absolutely. And again, we started this out saying, like, wow, this is the surprise of the season.
Yeah.
And my God.
Easily, yeah.
I could not believe just how engrossed I got into this. Romance stories can be so whatever for me.
Oh, they are so easy to fuck up.
Like, introducing romance into a story can tank it if it's done poorly. Like, a whole story, like, no matter what it is. So to see it, like, as the base here, and then and it's such a great build, too. And it also does a lot of good jobs at subverting expectations. Like, and it doesn't draw things out for too long. It always finds that right point where you're just about to be like, okay, come on. And then it's like, nope, okay, here you go. It's very good at doing that. And you pointed that out several times. So, yeah, this show is a darling to me, and I'm not marrying it.
I can understand that. And that makes me all the happier to get down on one knee and ask you, recovery of an MMO junkie, will you marry me?
Really?
I had such a tough time choosing because we started out with 11 shows this season. And the fact that we wound up at the end with 3 that we didn't cut, that 3 such different shows.
They really are.
And each so incredible. It was such a close choice that I can't sit here and tell either of you, like, no, you are wrong and this is why. Like, no,
I can't. I'm not even like surprised.
So
I'm like, oh my God, really? You picked that? No, like totally. I get you.
Yeah, like between, Inuyashiki, which reached such heights and delved so deep into such heavy stuff so well, and Ancient Magus Bride, but this just perfect jewel of a show that just did exactly what it set out to do so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, in only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I think that is the side that I finally came down on, that it gave me just enough of that heavy stuff, but was just also just such a pleaser. Every episode, every time I would turn on that first episode, like, all right, I've got a big old grin on my face, like, yes, please wash over me. Give me more of what I need. that it found just such a perfect marriage between that, crowd pleasing, just like cuteness and fluff, but also getting into some real shit. And yeah, that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down every week.
Oh my God!
I loved it.
That's
it's
what
amazing.
This show was in fact a spoonful of.
Yes, it really was.
By the way, small thing that I never mentioned that I always wanted to, but I keep forgetting to every time we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Koiwai's character in game?
Yes.
Yeah.
You ever notice that it speaks with his voice?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was funny because he's not role playing.
Yeah.
That's like, haha, I'm a big dumb girl. And I'm like, oh wow. I love that piece of that small thing of oh yeah,
what a good touch.
Didn't give him a female voice or a big butch woman voice. It's just his voice because he's not role playing.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, he's just being him.
Yup.
Yeah. What a good like. There were a lot of dropped balls, I think, with the supporting characters. But everyone that like showed up and did a thing, though, they did it well. They did just enough to move this story along.
I agree. Every single character in that group, even though they weren't there for very long, still gave us one memorable moment. I can still point to any of those characters. Like the cat girl had some funny moments. Fucking, oh God, Emeralda is one of those characters I actually wanted to see more of. She was one of the few background characters where I'm like, okay, but what's Emeralda's deal? Because she's sassy and I like her.
Yeah.
It's a her. In real life, that's actually a chick. In fact, they tease at that during the opening where they show the character creation. For a split second, it's a woman and then changes to a dude.
Oh, okay.
I'd say the only character that kind of was like whatever is the big fat dude, but even he still got that moment where he's making the scrolls talking to to Hayashi. Yeah. So I thought, minor characters still had good moments.
Yeah.
Still had some good moments. So.
And
Well,
Koiwai, man.
Oh,
Top tier wingman.
I think we'll talk about Koiwai. Let's talk about Koiwai for a minute because we cannot talk about the show without talking about Koiwai.
It's true.
Fuck, I'm gonna miss Koiwai so much.
He was like, even when he showed up, just to sneeze and say, I bet he's talking about me. I was just like, damn it, you winking ass at the camera, motherfucker. You are so slick. He was great.
Koiwai is that character that is just... He could have just been so dumb and so insufferable.
He could have, yeah.
But all of his, like, even his seediest moments were still tinged with this, I wouldn't really. I'm just trying to get you. And he did it so well. Any other character could have just come off as like, no, you're actually just kind of sleazy. We're with him, it's, oh, fuck you, you're charming. I don't know what to do with you. Like, he again, it's just...
He reminds me of a few of friends of mine.
Yeah.
Like I can see Koiwai and a bunch of my friends. Like, damn it, yeah. Always trying to one-up each other and everything.
Yeah.
It's a dude thing.
He is... Man,
he is almost the apex dude.
Right? Like his remarkable comfortableness with his comfortableness with his sexuality is one of the things that makes that character so much. He flirts with Sakurai non-stop.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's adorable. And like he's mom and Sakurai is dad. It's so cute. I'm like, oh my God, these two, their bromance is so good.
Yeah.
So rock solid.
They're great. I was not expecting that to come from that show.
Also, watch the dub just for his scenes. I mean, everyone else is good, but Ian Sinclair is a guy.
Oh, he plays him? Oh man, yeah, probably amazing. I'm sure with that, he can do a sassy.
Actually, side bit about Ian Sinclair in that role. Remember that phone call that he has with Morioka when he's like Morioka, and then he thinks back to the first time he met Morioka. Oh my God. Like, if you can watch any scene from that show and dubbed, that scene is incredible, and it's Ian Sinclair's doing all the heavy lifting there, and it's so good.
Nice.
Sorry, I just had to. We're talking about Koiwai.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and we will be able to gush over Koiwai some more when we talk about the fuck buddies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing best supporting character.
He's on the nominee list.
He's on the nominee list.
Ooh, spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, when something's that obvious, just say it.
Yeah.
All right, so anyone else have anything else to say about the MMO Junkie?
Congrats, you two.
Yes. Congratulations.
I am.
so
you know
happy
what?
for you.
I am glad that I'm. You know what? I'm pleased because now I know what happened, and if this doesn't highlight the perfect trifecta of this season, man.
Man, and let's be honest, I guess we know where I'm probably going to fall.
Yeah.
What's after this?
Fucking Infini-T Force.
I forgot about the
Right?
I did too.
I was like, oh man, we get to talk about ancient Magus and do it. Oh, okay.
I was gonna make some joke about me wanting to date and marry Infini-T Force, but no, I forgot it was a thing. Oh my god.
Okay, Infini-T Force.
We watched 6 episodes of this bullshit.
Why did we do
Watched
that?
is a-
All right, I'm sorry. Oh wow.
Yeah,
I have nothing to say.
No.
I actually Ken Eagle was the best character in the entire thing because he was out of touch guy from the past and he was the only one who wanted to get his goddamn job done.
I think this might be the only show that I have nothing good to say about.
I don't either.
Tatsunoko deserves better.
I fully believe that it does.
Man, here's the thing. Okay, so we face a conundrum. We could talk about why this show was bad and the things that it did wrong and the folly of its creation, or we could just say this was a shit show. We watched 6 episodes because I'm an asshole and thought it could get better, and I was wrong. Done.
Here's the thing. In the other timeline where
Oh,
it died
right.
in the first episode and Dies Irae lived for another week,
Yeah,
we'd
I
be
guess-
saying the exact same thing in reverse.
You know what? I guess at the end of the day, all I did was all.
You were just playing it as it was.
Yeah,
You know?
so-
That's kind of how the marbles fell. And you know what? There's always going to be some stinkers.
Yeah, that's
Sturgeon's Law.
That's the interesting thing is that early on, some shit that probably should die the first week's still gonna live because something else worse than it's gonna die.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are always grading on a curve because we can only kill one thing per week.
And
Yeah.
that, and I try to keep in mind the, first few episodes, maybe it gets better. It's anime, and if it runs for a long time, it sometimes takes to episode 15 before you get to anything good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Black Clover. I haven't watched that shit. I'm not watching that shit. Can we talk about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
sure.
Is
Okay.
that next?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So,
So,
best opening.
Boy, this show turned out to be exactly what I thought it was, actually. Like, I can
Yeah.
sit here and say, like, oh no, I had such better hopes for it.
kids, read the manga.
Yeah, all that I thought it was going to be, what I hoped that it would be, was just some generic shonen bullshit. My problem was not that I believed this could be better than it was. I just overestimated my appetite for generic shonen bullshit.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
'Cause I think you have a bigger stomach for it. I mean, this was just really bad shonen. This is exceptionally bad shonen. I can't remember the last time I saw shonen that was this bad. Maybe it was La Ubueki. And even that,
man.
even that I think was still better.
That was
I mean,
Trash.
Yeah, no, La Ubueki is bad.
get it because he transmutes trash.
Oh,
so the thing with Black Clover is it's taking a lot from everything. It's taking so much and providing so little. It is just an amalgam of every tropey shonen thing that could theoretically make for something entertaining.
And you know what the anime did that ruined what the manga did actually adequately?
What?
It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, you were telling me about like the way the panels were framed to help set up a joke.
Yeah, it's supposed
Wasn't there.
It's supposed to be funny and irreverent and fast-paced. It's supposed to breeze through all of this stuff because they know you know. They know you know. So it's like, well, we're not going to spend all of our time on this. Let's get through let's make some jokes about all of this and get through it. The anime decides, no, we're going to treat it like a real story. Oh my God, that was the worst thing it could have done. Okay, that and hire
Cast
a guy off
Asta.
the street
Yeah.
to play Asta. I'm sorry, but maybe it's not the actor's fault. I mean, as we talked about this earlier,
Yeah.
it's always the director's responsibility to get a good performance out of their actor. But I don't think you could have done that with this poor kid because if that's him yelling, that's just him yelling.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You could tell him not to yell.
Well,
But he had to for the part.
I'm wondering, because with the way that character is, he kind of seems like he's a guy who yells like every other thing he says. And I've heard yelling in anime that didn't sound terrible. It happens all the time.
I mean, it could also just be a bad character, too, is the thing. You could write a character that doesn't yell all the time for no reason.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Asta's great right now.
As a guy who's seen Asta in the dub, he's way less insufferable there. He's not great, but I've watched a couple of episodes dubbed, and I'm like, I'm not hating myself. What's happening?
Mm-hmm. But for the thing with the shonen pro tag is they're always supposed to have some unique distinguishing quality about them that is different from everyone else. His is he can't use magic. Oh, cool. I have the thing that is better than all magic. So whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he is not compelling. There's nothing cool about Asta. We are given no reason to care about him other than, oh, poor baby, can't use magic.
And again, the anime goes way too far into that.
They deliberate over so much shit that I'm told it only took up like a few pages in a chapter.
Yeah. So I am actually going to defend Black Clover via its manga and say, if you're looking for something that's funny and easily consumable, and yeah, it's tropey, but it knows it and actually just has fun with it, you're way worse off, like, than the Black Clover manga. Like, it is, as a guy who read some of it, I'm like, this is what they were talking about. I wouldn't read it. Because, again, I'm not interested in these stories. I'm not, like, this whole thing just does not appeal to me. And it's still kind of meh. But in manga form, it is way, way more consumable.
Oh, I imagine.
As an anime, oh, Jeebus, no. Christ, no.
I don't like to say I hope something fails, because I know everything has fans and that feels like a really mean-spirited thing to say. No. I hope that this adaptation fails, because I would love for the industry to learn this lesson. I would love for it to no longer be an economic necessity for them to drag this shit out.
I know.
Because I want the My Hero model of let's adapt things in a sensible way, and then when we've caught up, take a fucking break.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Don't pad it out. Don't introduce a bunch of filler arcs. Just, hey, come on back when you've got more material to adapt, and we'll still be here. I would love for that to be the economic model that makes the most sense, because something like Black Clover could probably benefit a lot from that.
Yeah.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And I remember Soul Eater. I was really into Soul Eater.
That adaptation has a lot of things going for it.
Yeah.
Except until it gets about episode 30.
Yes.
Yep.
And then it's like, we're going to go into a filler territory. And I'm like, you could have done a 26-episode season, taken a break, and come back.
Yeah.
But, and the ending to the manga is not great, actually. Like, if anybody's wondering, the ending of the Soul Eater manga, not great. But let me tell you, the second core of it, the part where we went into filler territory, no, way better in the manga.
Yeah.
Like, infinitely better in the manga. The place the anime goes is, like, way even above Fullmetal Alchemist's failure to comprehend its source material. And yeah, I am so glad that we're getting My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, even Attack on Titan. I'm not even a fan of that. I'm still happy that at least they're waiting and then making seasons. This is the way anime needs to go. I am so sick and tired of these being cash cows to sell DVDs and toys. You're making garbage, guys. You're making garbage.
They're making commercials.
Look
That's
what
all
you
they're doing.
turned One Piece into. Look at it. Look at it.
I will not, actually. I will read the manga, which is very good.
Oh, my God. The thing that happened. Oh, my God. Oh.
Well, and when I'm 30 and catch up to One Piece, I'll let you know.
Good. And in the meantime, watch My Hero.
I'll do it after I'm done with everything else I'm doing.
You bitch.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, so yeah, Black Clover is
Black Clover done. Don't watch it.
Yep.
Cool. Can we talk about things we like?
We can talk about Ancient Magus Bride, which process of elimination.
Man, I was gonna work up to it.
No, we can let's talk. We can talk a bit about it.
So,
I'll go ahead and open up and say that going into this, I did not like this show.
Yeah.
I didn't like episode 1. I didn't like episode 2. It wasn't until the end of episode 3 that I really cared. And even then, after that, I enjoyed what it was doing. It went to a lot of fun, magical places afterward, but it's still, I don't think it was until after the end of the Island of Cats that I was fully in.
Yep.
Because I was still like, like I didn't know where it was going to go, but I think around the midpoint, it firmly put its foot down that we are going to tackle some deep shit. We are going to address Chisei. We're going to talk about this relationship, and we're going to do it in a fantastical way. In a really I haven't seen done better elsewhere. It is something magical. It really is. The visuals of this show are simply arresting. They're the backgrounds of this show. I have never seen better backgrounds in an animated TV show ever. They're so good. And it is so easy to get lost in this world. And it's our world, which is the coolest part to me. I'm a big fan of the urban fantasy shit. And it just tell me, hey, out in those woods, out in the back, yeah, there's all this magic shit. You want to go check it out? I love this kind of storytelling. And it took some work to get there. And I think once it really presented that we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about sadness. And we're going to talk about, belonging and where you belong in the world. But look at all this cool shit, too. Let's have fun. So good.
I think the two things that this show has going for it, the two flavors that it deals in are let's talk about the relationship. Elias and Chisei, the power dynamic, Chisei's depression and self-loathing, the romance, if you even want to call it that at this point, between them, the relationship, and then look at this all this crazy magical world stuff. Look at this magical world in which we live. Look at this magical creature of the week. Let's deal with that.
Yeah.
In so many shows, it would be a parfait. Which flavor are we getting this episode? Is this going to be a relationship episode, or is this going to be a magical world episode? In almost every episode, it is a perfect blending of those two, where you could not have one without the other.
Yeah.
And that is a fantastic feat. It never feels like one is at the expense of the other.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I don't like fantasy. I actually really don't like fantasy most of the time. I don't like the token works much because, I don't like the token works. I don't like high fantasy because a lot of the time, I can't find myself there. And what you said about the fact that it's set in the real world means a lot to me.
Same.
Because the closer I have something, the closer my fantasy is to things that I understand and that I am close to, the easier it is for me to fall into those things. And now when I say I don't like fantasy, that's not me saying, hey, dude, if you like Tolkien, if you like any of these high fantasy concepts, cool, fantastic. I'm really happy to hear that. I just can't get into them. It's a personal thing, and I completely cop to that. So when this series is all about a regular person in regular life who's brought into fantasy elements, and not a girl down the well way, but through the opening up this door to a whole new world that exists right beside her, it's amazing. I love the world that it builds with it, and again, it's our world.
Yeah.
And, when they talk about Oberon and, what was it?
Titania.
Yeah, Titania and the old name for Britain.
Albion?
Yeah, Albion.
Yeah.
When they talk about that and they give you this lore and these creatures that exist in our lore, the idea of the Selkie or the Wandering Jew or all of these things, I'm like, yes, that is what I want to see. I want to see these elements brought forward and just... It's beautiful in terms of its fantasy. It's a fantasy that I can identify with and connect to and hold on to. And when you were talking about the first couple of episodes not being exceptionally good, in retrospect, those episodes are great to me now. Because when we went into this, we had trepidation. Because let's be honest, this show could have easily been a bunch of garbage. Could have been exploitative. It could have been poorly told. The magic could have just been caused ways to solve everyone's problems.
Chisei could have been waifu bait.
Yes. Oh God, Chisei could have been the worst character.
We could have had just an abhorrent amount of chibi goof off moments.
Yep.
I like how conservatively the show uses those.
Yeah.
Because they use them in the perfect moment every time.
Yeah.
They're always cute, and they're
good.
They're always in these places where, like, I don't know. Whenever Elias goes chibi, it's the perfect moment.
It's usually a great tension breaker.
I will say I have occasionally found them off-putting, but the fact that I have ever liked them says something, because
Yeah.
I do not like that shit.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood suffered a little bit from its adaptation from a manga to anime, because they worked really well on paper. In the anime, they had a habit of kind of breaking tension where tension didn't need to be broken. That being said, I love every episode of the show now that I've seen where it's going, because now I can look back at those ones where I had trepidation. I'm like, no, this was all intentional. You were supposed to film mixed. You were supposed to wonder where this was going to go, and that made the emotional fulfillment all that more enriching. I absolutely adore the development of both Chisei and Elias. They are realistic. They're slow, but they're not plotting, because they're surrounded by these wonderful moments, like these gloriously beautiful moments of saving people, of connecting to people, of seeing beautiful things and tragically terrible things. The Kingdom of Cats is, as an arc, like, may be the best part of the show so far, because of what it introduces, how it develops these characters, and the world. Oh my God. It's so difficult to find the words to express how much I love this show, and I want it to marry me. So, and the last episode with the beauty that, like, and that the last episode sealed it for me. I was back and forth on this or Inuyashiki. Because, well, Recovery of an MMO Junkie was totally on the table. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? It did not make me feel the emotional highs I got out of both Inuyashiki and Ancient Magus. Inuyashiki for me is like, I will hook up with you at any time. Like, at my kinkiest, I'm like, yeah, let's get down with some Inuyashiki. But Ancient Magus Bride, that's husband material. And so at the end of the day, I will happily get down with Bone Daddy.
You know what? He's so furry adjacent. I knew as soon as he showed up, you were gonna be in.
He actually, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, he is actually totally furry adjacent.
Yeah,
like the way that his character is developed, like, I can totally tell you that there are definitely some furries out there who is like, I want to fuck that. I want to fuck that right now. I want to fuck that. Yesterday.
I am aware.
But yeah, no. At the end of the day, this show is beautiful. I was damn near at tears the entirety of the last episode. It made the decision for me. The moment where she conjures the phoenix and flies, and the look on her face and the feel of the scene with the opening playing. The moment the opening started, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing this. They're like, oh, and that scene in the sky where the music cuts out and it's just the singer belting out the line. That singer.
That gave me goosebumps, man.
That killed me.
Yeah. That's great.
This show teeters between good and great so much of the time, and in this one just fucking blew me away. So yeah, I got to marry it.
Good choice. All good choices on the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't believe it shook out that we.
I thought we were both gonna. I swore we were both gonna pick Inuyashiki. I was pegging you to marry this one. So yeah. Yeah. Man, but yeah, this show, before we do more meta talk, this show is, the closest thing I can compare this to, it feels like Full Metal Alchemist to me, because it's very Western, so it feels very palatable as a Western viewer.
Yeah.
It takes place in Britain, you get all this stuff in the city, you have, dealing with British lore, a lot of like revisiting like pagan things that feel like buried in Western tradition now. So seeing those just kind of come to light and through a different lens of like a Japanese interpretation of this really cool Western shit that we don't even talk about anymore.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, this is a Japanese perspective on Western things, and they're doing it really well.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something I'm always afraid of. Like, when you take another person's culture and look at it from a different lens, like, it can end up very poorly, or you get this new sort of perspective on it that's beautiful, unique.
Like I've never considered a lot of like the like modern, not modern, like the British folklore in this way, like Arthurian legends and shit like that we kind of delve a bit into when like Ruth's introduced. We get a bit more of that shit. But it's just like, Titania and all of them. It's so cool. Holy shit.
The introduction of Titania is one of my favorite parts of the whole show.
And the whole episode is just them talking in the woods, but it's great. But it's so good. Like, cause like every description you come to this fucking table and you say, this boring shit happens. And that's just like
and then every time I say, but it's so good, and I know I didn't make it sound good, but it is.
Yeah, but I love, because it's honestly, I really enjoy like how you summarize it, because if you put it down, this is just kind of a testament to the visual storytelling on display here.
Yeah.
That just the written summary of events is really boring. There's like, it's just whatever, sure. But the way that it is conveyed, the execution here is unmatched. It is so consistent and so fluid and engrossing and captivating. It's impossible not to be charmed by this.
Titania's introduction is 1.5 minutes long.
Yeah, of her just walking.
And the only dialogue
right.
is that little stone dude reciting like.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't know what he's reciting exactly.
He's just, I don't know. He's saying like, let all the woods, everything fall silent. Like let every leaf turn to her, like towards her. It's crazy.
It's this beautiful scene. And like in any other show that took any less time and effort to make that scene shine would have been boring or overwrought. But I was sitting there captivated like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And okay, so
and also
kind of jelly, but this is so good.
Well, and coming where it comes as this deep breath after the City of Cats arc, which is just, oh my God, so much shit is happening.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's decompress. And also, let's introduce these dope new characters.
Let's introduce basically the gods of this like whole fantasy world.
Yeah.
Like the balls on this show to introduce you to Titania and Oberon.
Oberon.
Yeah.
Like halfway through the first season, being like, hey, so these guys are super important.
Yeah. Also, they're pretty much just popping in for a visit, by the way.
Well, it's kind of it's a visit with a purpose.
Yeah.
Like they're there to be like, so that's the one, huh?
Well, everything in the show has a purpose. But it's just like, hey,
but
we're
it's
just
not
hanging
like,
out.
hey, we are sending you on this quest now.
Everything here is, oh God, I'm trying to think of the word. It's all very like homely. I don't know how to put it. Like everything feels holistic. Yes. Everything in this feels like, it feels like getting together with the family in the best of Thanksgivings. Like for me, this feels like it brightens up connections with everyone. Everyone in this show is it's singing the praises of how you interact with people, how you interact with the world, how you perceive things. And it's not, things are magic in this world, but changing how you view things, that's not fucking magic. It really isn't.
Except it totally is. That's the real magic.
That is the real magic.
Real magic.
Like, it's that this show feels like the day you decide to look up at the trees instead of down at your phone and realize how good the leaves look. Like, that is what this show is to me. It's so, so good.
Man, I can't wait till it starts up again.
I know. I'm very much looking
Saturday?
forward
I don't
to
know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
That's the real rough thing about planning this show and trying to structure it out is that turns out there's still a big ocean and a big language barrier between us and Japan. It takes a while for the news to percolate to us. There's a lot of misinformation out there. We don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yep.
We thought we were going to be able to talk about 2 episodes of this week. We didn't because they took a week off.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't they? But we just didn't know. And
I'm sure there are press releases somewhere, but who's watching those? Who's translating them? It's hard.
So we don't know whether this will be back next week. We don't know what we'll be here to talk about next week.
Yeah.
But we do know that we're going to take a break here. We're going to go pee. And then we're going to go get into the Fuck Buddy Awards.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the other side.
See ya.
See you at the buddies.
We're all married. Hey guys, thank you so much for sticking with us through that long recording. The Fuck Buddy Awards wound up being, believe it or not, even longer. So those are going to be released in several parts. We're not even sure how many yet over the course of next week. Stay tuned, and thanks, as always, to our beautiful patrons who make it all possible. Thanks, guys.